Please confirm if my screen is visible. Okay, Shashwat, thank you for the confirmation. So today we are going to start a new topic. Before that, let us do a small recap. Okay. So yesterday we were discussing about the cursor. It is called as what? Iterator. So we have already completed about the enumeration. Now, yesterday it was about iterator, and today it is going to be about list iterator. So the iterator says, okay, it was introduced in JDK 1.2 version. It is not a legacy cursor, and it is a universal cursor. So these are some points that you need to remember for the interview room. And since it is an interface, you cannot create an object for that. It is applicable for all the collection interfaces such as list, queue, and set. Right. So, and we have seen some methods like as next method, and we have a method by the name of next, and we have a method by the name of remove. So we have some disadvantage with the iterator. So to overcome that disadvantages, now we need to go for what? We need to go for list iterator. So this is the last cursor that we need to discuss. So what is the cursor that we need to discuss? List iterator. Okay. So I will give you some points about list iterator. Then we can start working on the program for the better understanding. Okay. If you have an option to let people in, you can do that. So the list iterator says it was also introduced in JDK 1.2 version. When something gets introduced in the something gets introduced after JDK 1.0 version, so they come under a category called non-legacy category. So it is a non-legacy cursor. Non-legacy cursor. Just for the differentiation, you need to remember this. The third point is, so what are the disadvantages that we were facing? So we were able to do only two operations. One is to read the element or retrieve the element or to remove the element, right? But I also want to do the insert operation, and I also want to do the replace operation, right? So in order to achieve that, I can use list iterator. List iterator is a cursor which allows to do the read operation, remove operation, insert operation, and replace operations while iterating over the elements or objects, right? So these are the operations that you can do with the help of list iterator. Like there was a big limitation with iterator, because iterator, it was able to do either the retrieve operation or the remove operation. But see, list iterator can able to do read operation, remove operation, insert operation, as well as replace operations. All the operations, all the data manipulations can be done by using list iterator. Okay? And the fourth point says it is applicable only for list implementation. List implementations. So what are the classes that are under list implementations? Okay, we have ArrayList, we have LinkedList, we have vector, and we have stack. You can use list iterator only on these classes. One is ArrayList class, second one is LinkedList class, and the third one is vector class. The fourth one is stack class. Right? It is applicable only for list iterations. Right? But here you have a big advantage. Okay, list iterator is a cursor. It allows you to read the elements in both forward direction as well as in the backward direction. Okay? Please be informed that list iterator will allow you to read the elements in both forward as well as backward direction and backward direction. I will explain you what is it. Okay, so it's very simple. Let us directly jump into the program. So if I want to perform the iteration over an array list elements, okay, let me take an array list. Okay, I want to take it as a generic type, so I am taking it as a string. Okay, let us add some flowers. New array list. Done. Object has been created for array list, and the reference variable name is flowers. I want to add four flowers. Okay, flowers dot add. Okay, the first flower is rose. Okay, and let us add three more flowers. So rose has been added. Okay, second flower, let us keep it as lily. Okay, third flower, jasmine. Fourth flower, we have lotus. Okay, the these are the most what we call it as, these are the names of the flowers that we always come across, right? So I just want to print all the flowers. Okay, is it happening? Yes, it is happening. So we know because of this some changes will happen behind the scenes. So an object gets created and the reference variable name is going to be what? Flowers. Okay, what I want to do, I want to create an object for, I want to create a reference for list iterator. Okay, so please understand one thing. If the generic type is string, here you need to place it as string, right? You can keep any user defined name. In this case, I am keeping it as li equal to use the reference variable flowers dot list iterator. Okay, so let me go back to the theory. So what we have just done, steps to create list iterator cursor. So I have just created the list iterator cursor by using the list iterator interface, which is a generic type, and I have also used a method called list iterator. Okay, these both are not same, they are completely different because the first one is starting with the letter of the first list iterator is starting with the uppercase, but here it is starting with the lowercase. According to the naming convention, okay, this naming convention talks about a method. This is talking about what interface, right? So what is the first step? Create list iterator reference variable as follows. Okay, after creating a list iterator reference, okay, so we are going to call a method of what type? List iterator type. Okay, and the name of the method is list iterator. It's a public method. List iterator method is a public method and its return type is list iterator itself. So this is an interface which is talking about the method. Okay, how did we do the call? Okay, this is how we did the call. Let me copy, or we have this all, we have already done this already. Let me cut and let me paste it here. Okay, because of this, what are the changes that has happened behind the scenes? Okay, for that we need to look into the paint screen. Okay, let me copy all this. Let me put it in the paint screen. There is a space here. Let me create some space here. Okay, so these are the lines of code that I have just added, right? So I hope these lines are visible to you guys. Okay, so now let us go line by line. Okay, so the first line is doing what? Okay, an object get created, isn't it? What is the name of this object? So flowers. So the meaningful object reference variable name. So reference variable name is what? Flowers. Okay, how many flowers we have added here? So we have added 4 flowers. Some. One is rose. Second one is lily. Third one is what? Jasmine. And fourth one is what? Lotus. Okay, 4 flowers are added. So we are done till here. Okay, after this, what we have done? We are just printing flowers. So because of this operation, all the flowers information got displayed in the console. Right now, an object, the reference variable has been created for list iterator. Okay, because of this, behind the scenes an object gets created. Okay, so this is called iteration. Okay, a cursor will be created. A cursor will be created, and the cursor always, even for the enumeration, even for the iterator, and even for the list iterator, the cursor always points just before the first object. Right, this is the placeholder for the cursor. We have seen these things. Even it is the same thing applies for enumeration, the same thing applies for iterator, and the same thing is going to get applied for list iterator. Okay, this is the placeholder of the cursor. So because of this line, these things has just happened behind the scenes. Are we good till now? Yes, no? Please confirm. Let us keep this session interactive. And please, sorry for the inconvenience, my voice is not good. If you find any audio distortion, please let me know, okay? Everyone type as in the chat box. Are you all with me? Good, good, good. Okay then. So now, the usual thing. So first step we have done. Okay. The second step is, so there are, again here we have what? We have two methods here. Okay. To read elements from the list iterator. Okay, we have some methods. Read elements from the iterator, from the list iterator. List iterator, we have what? We have some method. First method is as next method. Okay, this as next method, the job of the as next method is just to check is there any objects present or not. Okay, so when you apply as next method on top of this cursor, okay, it is just like you are asking the cursor to check is there any elements available or not. Okay, the current placeholder of this as next, the current placeholder of the cursor is pointing towards this line, and it will ensure that is there any elements or not. Of course, there are 4 elements here. Okay, the return type of this is going to be what? True. If it is identifying any elements, it is going to say true. If it is not identifying any element, it is going to say false. It is going to communicate to you in two ways, by either using true or false. So in this case, it is going to communicate to us true. So the return type is what? Boolean type. Right? The return type is what? Boolean type. Right? And it is public. So this is the prototype of what? As next method. This is the first method. Let me keep it as here. So we have a second method. The second method is P. The name of the method is next method. So this next method is going to tell you what it is going to do. Perform two operations. Okay, when you use next method, it is going to perform two operations. What are they? It will give you the object of the next element. In this case, it is rows. At the same time, it will also move the cursor. The cursor will be moved to the next placeholder. What are the operations that next method? When you call next method, ideally it is going to do two operations. What is the first operation? The next element will be returned to you. You just call it, will do what? It will just return this. It will just return this to you. At the same time, the cursor will ideally get moved from this location to this location. Right? The cursor movement will happen in this direction. Are you getting this? Hope it is making sense, right? Same thing. We have discussed all these things, but there is one difference here. I will tell you what is it. Right? So the job of the next method we got to know. So what is the name of this cursor? Ideally, the name of this cursor is li. So that is what I have kept. So let us keep it as what li. Right? Now I want to also show you the indexing part. Okay? Each and every element will be assigned with index. This is 0th index, and this is what? This is first index, this is second index, and this is third index. Okay, we have also a method here. So this is the first time we are discussing this method. So next method is going to, we know about the next method. Okay, the return type is object type, and it is what? It is a public access modifier, isn't it? Okay, there is another method here. There is another method. The name of the method is what? public int as next index method. Next index method. This next index method, when you apply this next index method on the cursor, it is going to return the value of the next index accordingly. Right? Let us apply this in the programmatical part. So case 1, let us do the case 1. So case 1. So I want to do what? I want to move the cursor. I want to move the cursor li dot. No, I want to check if there are any next element. Okay. Okay. So as next method I'm using. When I use this method, we already know this as next method is going to identify is there any objects or not. Of course, it is able to see one object which is rows, so it is going to return true. Yes or no? So when I run this code, obviously it is going to return true, right? So after this, so when I use instead of as next, and when I use next index method, okay, next index, what index? Not the current index, next index. Ideally, what is a next index from this perspective? From this cursor perspective, the cursor is pointing to an imaginary line just before the rows object. Ideally, what is going to be the next index for this cursor? From the cursor's perspective, you have to think that from the cursor's perspective, the next index is going to be 0, isn't it? Right? So obviously, it has to return what? It has to return 0. Index of the next object, 0. Right? And SYSO, and if I do li dot next method. So we have 3 different methods. Don't get any confused. As next method, next index method, and the next method. But the next method is going to do 2 jobs, 2 operations. One is it is going to return the next, object of the next object. At the same time, the cursor will be moved from the previous location to the next location. Right? So when I do this, when I run this, okay, true. This is returning true. This is returning the index, and this is returning what? Rows. At the same time, it will not stop just returning the rows. Also, it will move this cursor from this location to this location. Are you getting this? Everyone, type as in the chat box if you have any confusion because of this. Type as in the chat box. Are we good so far? Good. Okay. So next, so if I repeat this operation, for let us repeat this for case 1. Or else I can take it as first. Okay. If I repeat this operation for 3 more times, second, third, fourth. So if you see the output and you have an output, so true 0 rows, true 1 Lily, true 2 number 2 Jasmine, true number 3 Lotus, isn't it? Right? So we just calling the operation. We just calling the as method, next index method, and the next method sequentially for 4 number of times. Right? So the first time, this is the first time. Okay, when it called for the first time, okay, the cursor is getting moved here. Second time, the cursor is getting moved here. Third time, the cursor is getting moved here. Fourth time, the cursor is getting moved here. Okay, when I call it for the 5th time, what will happen behind the scenes? 4th time, it is okay. Okay, let me call it for the 5th time. Now we need to do some observation. By FPH 5th time. Okay, so this has to return false, isn't it? Because it will not see the ideally it is returning false. Okay, when I call as next method on top of li. Okay, now li is literally pointing here. Okay, li is not able to see any more elements after this line. Is any other element is visible after this line? No. So it is returning false. When it is returning false, and if I want to call the next index method, okay, no elements are there. If there are no elements, do you think that the next index method is going to return something? Right? So index wise, it is returning what? It is returning 4. But when you call li.next, okay, so this li.next will throw an exception called what? No such element exception. Okay, index at the time of index is getting created. Okay, index is ideally getting created on the null object, but there is no element. That's why you are unable to call to what? The next method. So this part is going to work because of internal indexing, right? But if you call the next method, the job of the next method is what? It has to return an object. It has to return an object which is not there. Ideally, the object is not there. It is completely empty. But how it is returning indexes? Ideally, index number will be generated. Okay, and the null values will be there, but there is no object here. Indexing concept will keep going as long as the as next element is getting called. But you will get an exception in the next method, and it is not able to find any more object. There will be an exception because the last object was lotus. After lotus, there are no objects. Everything is empty, right? So that's why you're getting an error like what? No such element exception. Okay, so I can manipulate this. I can convert this algorithm, or I can convert this sequence just by using what? One while loop. Okay, inside this while loop, I can do what? I can just write li dot as next method. Inside this, I can write what? If I want to retrieve the data, I can write something like li dot next. Right? If I run this code, we have rose, lily, jasmine, lotus. So this is talking about the forward direction. Okay, now the cursor is pointing where? Now the cursor is pointing exactly towards the last line. Okay, now I can also make this cursor to move from the reverse direction. I can again start from here, and I can start going back. So this has been till now the cursor has moved into one direction, which is a forward direction. Okay, let me this direction. Okay, now I want to run this cursor completely to the opposite direction. Okay, so this is staying here. Now it has gone. It is pointing to this imaginary line. Okay, now see what are the manipulations that I am going to do with the code. Reverse direction. Okay, now you see the code. So I have a kind of method called li dot as previous. As previous method is there. As previous means the cursor will start moving to the reverse, or the cursor will start moving in the backward direction. Okay, from the cursor's perspective, as previous means the cursor has literally changed its direction. You are asking the cursor to check. Now this is not as next. Okay, now you are applying a method called as previous method. What method is that? As previous method. Okay, this method will activate the cursor to move in the opposite direction. Okay, so when you invoke as previous method, you are asking the cursor to check, is there any element from this point? Okay, there is one element lotus. Obviously it is going to return what? True, isn't it? If I run this code, see reverse direction from here. This is for our reference. Okay, I just type reverse direction, so it has written true, right? And again there is another method. system.out.print li dot previous method is also there. Previous method. Okay, this method is going to print what the immediate previous object, and it will do two operations. It will perform two operations. What are the name of the two operations? Firstly, it will perform, it will check, it will return the lotus first. The immediate object will be returned to the console or return to you. Okay, then the cursor will be moved from this location to this location. Okay, which one is doing that? Not next method, the previous method is doing that. So now this method has no scope, and you have introduced one more method called the previous method, right? So if you keep calling this, the cursor will be moved in the reverse direction. Forward direction, for the forward direction you're going to use as next method or the next method. For the reverse direction you're going to use as previous or the previous method. Okay, if I just collate all this into the within the simple while loop, you can do the same thing. While la dot as previous, I'm calling as previous method. So when I'm calling this method, the placeholder of the cursor is here. I want to print all the objects in the reverse direction. Okay, if I want to do that, what I can do, I can keep calling the method called what? Li dot previous method. You have previous index method also. Okay, previous index method is going to display the indexes. Previous method is going to display the objects in the reverse. See, after the reverse direction, the forward direction, rose, lily, jasmine, lotus. Reverse direction, lotus, jasmine, lily, rose. So that's why it is called as what? Bi-directional cursor. That is why it is also called as what? Bi-directional cursor. Please be informed that ListIterator is also called as bi-directional cursor. Making sense? So that's why you can run the cursor in the forward direction by using as next method or the next method, and you can run the cursor in the reverse direction by using as previous method or the previous method. Okay, I hope you are getting this. So let me go back to the theory, right? In the forward direction, okay, I want to copy the same thing and I want to paste with element of the restrictor in the backward direction. Okay, so as instead of next, you will use as previous. Okay, and next method can be replaced with previous method, and next index, okay, you will use what? Previous index. Same thing. Okay, you get elements in the reverse direction. That's it. Okay, apart from this, is there any other thing that we can perform? Yes, there are. You can do some manipulations to perform operations like remove, insert, and replace. We have some prominent methods. Okay, what is the first method? We have public void remove. So let us understand that just by considering one direction, which is a forward direction. Okay, let me go back to the program. So guys, I just want to see. So now, as soon as I create array list, I am successfully able to add 4 elements: rose, lily, jasmine, and lotus. After that, I am printing. So obviously, let me remove this. So when I run this code, all the elements will be printed in the console, right? All the object rose, lily, jasmine, and lotus, right? So I want to remove lotus, or I want to remove lily. Okay, so what I am doing, I am creating a cursor. So this is going to create the ListIterator cursor. I'm running the while loop. Okay, this is going to do, it is going to check whether the next element is there or not, right? So now what I'm doing, I am storing this value in the form of string pot equal to li dot next. I'm storing these individual values in the form of string, right? So when the while loop is running for the first time, the value of the cot is what? Rows. It is going to store rows. It is running for the second time. The rows will be replaced with Lily. Third time, Lily will be replaced with Jasmine. Fourth time, Jasmine will be replaced with Lotus. Okay, so I am keeping an immediate statement. I am keeping an immediate statement saying that, immediate condition saying that if cot, whenever cot dot equals Lily, immediate condition, I am placing an immediate condition. Okay, if cot dot equals, if it is Lily, as soon as it is Lily, what I want to do? I want to do what? I want to remove Lily dot. I want to do what? I want to remove. Okay, let me run this code. After removing, if I try to print the collection object flowers, okay, now Lily will be removed successfully. You will see only what? Rose, Jasmine, and Lotus. So this is how we have achieved what? The remove operations. We are able to remove successfully. But I also want to do one more thing. What is the one more thing that I want to do? I am able to remove this successfully. Next thing I want to do what? I want to add something. Public void add. I want to add additional flower object obj. So now you see the power of add method. Okay, as soon as you find Lily, you add another flower. Okay, the name of the flower is what? Tell me one more flower, guys, if you have any idea. Do you know any other flowers apart from this flow? Give me some flower name apart from rose, lily, jasmine, lotus. Anyone? Don't know any flower name? Ratna, help me with the flower name. Ratna, Jyoti. Ratna, Jyoti, Samikta is there. Jyoti N is also there. Help me with any one of the flower name. New flower name. Any flower name. I am very bad at flower names. So we have four flowers here. I want you to help me with another flower name. Hibiscus, huh? Okay. Let me take hibiscus, okay? Even I am bad at flowers, okay? So let me take hibiscus. So I want to add a flower. As soon as the value of cot is equal to lily, I want to add a flower called hibiscus. Okay, let me run this. See, after lily, we are able to add hibiscus. So this is the power of add method. So you have an option to add new object in the existing array with the help of what? List iterator. Okay, what if I want to add hibiscus next to if I keep lotus, okay, this hibiscus will be added next to lotus. Okay, if I say rose, okay, this hibiscus will added next to rose. Are you getting this? This is the power of what? Add method. The power of add method. The remaining, so internally what is happening is, okay, let me explain this for you in the diagrammatical representation. Okay, this is our code. So list iterator says you have an option to perform some kind of modification. What kind of modification that you can do? Okay, the original array is like, the original array is storing what? Rose, lily, jasmine, and lotus. So we have rose, we have lily, we have jasmine, and we have lotus. So this is the original array. Okay, this is how the array is. So the size, the default size of array list is what? 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right? So you are iterating I dot as next. So obviously a cursor will be created. Okay, it will just point just before the rows. Okay, as soon as it identifies rows, okay, as soon as, okay, there will be another temporary variable called cot. Okay, the name of this variable is what? Cot. Okay, this firstly the value of cot is going to be what? Rows. Okay, as soon as the value of cot is rows, okay, as soon as this if condition is satisfied or found to be rows, okay, so what we are doing, okay, the cursor is getting moved from year to year. As in the next two rows you are adding what? You are adding hibiscus. So when you want to add hibiscus, already lily has occupied that position, right? You need to move lily to the next placeholder, but jasmine is there. You need to move jasmine to the next placeholder. Lotus is there. Lotus needs to be moved to the next placeholder. Okay, the void space that is getting created will be occupied by the flower that you want to add, which is what? Hibiscus. Are you getting? That's why, every element is getting moved to the next position. So this is what happening internally. Right? Same thing goes for, right, if you want to, as soon as the condition is equal to lotus, okay, the hibiscus will be added next to the lotus. See, as soon as the condition is equal to something like apple, is there any such thing apple here? No, this if condition will never get satisfied, so it is going to remain same. Rose, lily, jasmine, lotus. Only if you make this condition satisfied, or if you want to add any other element, that element will be added next to the specific element that you are mentioning here. Making sense, everyone? The power of add method. Atura. Atura. Everyone, are you getting this? Right? So like this, we have another method called set method. Okay, there is a lot of difference between set method and the add method. Okay, when I replace this add with set method, I'm sorry. See, Apple. Previously we were talking about what? Add method. When I just replace this add with set method, now you see what will happen. Okay, let me take it as rows. Okay, if it was add method, this hibiscus will be added next to the rows, right? But if it is set method, the rows will be replaced. Rows has been replaced to hibiscus. Remaining element will be as it is. Setting means replacing. Replacing is happening. Adding means all the elements are going to be there as it is, but with the different placeholders, and you are able to add the new object into that specific location. Set is what? Set is going to do the replacement. Are you getting this? Set will replace, add will add. Okay, instead of rows, I want to replace lotus. Okay, so lotus position will be occupied by hibiscus. Getting this, everyone? Yes, no? Very easy, no? So this is the power of ListIterator. So what we have understood with the ListIterator, we are able to perform remove operation, insert operation, and the replace operation. Okay, what is the method to remove operation? This is the method to remove any element, and this is a method to add any element, and we have a method to replace any element. Public void replace set object obj. Okay, this is the power of what? ListIterator. The power of what? ListIterator. So let us try to understand all the difference between what the ListIterator, enumeration, and the iterator. Okay, so you will never forget this. So I will list out the differences. So let me take a tabular column like this, a kind of table. Okay, so what is the first thing that we have learned? Enumeration. Okay, secondly, we have learned about what? Iterator. The third topic is what? ListIterator. Isn't it? So many times you may be getting question like, from the collections, difference between iterator versus list iterator. Okay, this question has been asked many number of times for the experienced candidate as well as for the freshers. Okay, never ignore these topics. Okay, so what is the thing that is being spoken by the enumeration? When I say enumeration, the ideally you should remember one point. Okay, it is applied only to what? It can be applied only to legacy classes, because it was introduced in JDK 1.0 version. That's why it is applicable only for legacy classes. So it is applicable. It can be applied to all collection interface, because iterator is what? Universal cursor. Universal means it should be applicable for all the collection interfaces. Okay, what about list iterator? It is applicable only for list implementations. All the classes that is falling under the list interface, okay, they can make use of this list iterator, right? So what is the second point that we have? It was introduced in JDK 1.0 version, because it is a legacy, right? So it was introduced in JDK. This is 1.2, right? And this is also what? 1.2. Okay, so direction, when you talk about the direction, unidirection. So this is what? Single direction. You can traverse only in one direction. The single direction. Okay, and iterator is also what? You can travel only in one direction, that is single direction, right? But you can traverse in both directions, is forward and backward direction. That's why it is called as what? Unidirectional cursor, right? So what are the operations that you can perform? Fourth one is talking about what operations we can perform. Only read operation. Okay, we can perform read operation and remove operation. Okay, here we can perform what? Read operation, remove operation. What else we have? Replace operation and insert operation. Read, remove, replace and insert. Okay, so you can use this method in the vector class. Important point, by calling elements method present in the vector class, you can do what? By calling elements method present in the vector class, you can do what? You can do manipulations. You can use it. Okay, now here the point goes to, by calling iterator method present in any collection interface. Yes, you can use it. Last one is what? By calling list iterator method present in list interface. That's it. You remember this, everything is done. Just need to remember these points. Right? Okay, enumeration iterator, list iterator, it can be applied only for legacy, of only for collection interface, only for list implementations, 1.0 version, 1.2, 1.2, single direction, forward and backward direction. You can perform only read operation. See, the advantages are getting increased from left to right. You can perform read and remove operation. Here you can perform all operations: read, remove, replace, and insert. Okay, you have elements method here. This is very important to be noted. You have elements method here. You have iterator method here, and you have list iterator method here. Okay, so that's all about these cursors. These are what? These are the cursors in collections. What are they? Cursors in Java. Okay, so that's all about the Java cursors. Okay, if you want, you can practice on these examples. We'll share you the video. Do you have any questions for me? Tomorrow